So you went to Penn State. What did you major minor in?
I was a finance major.
Huh.
Okay, so obviously I ended up not doing
Finance.
financial work, but yeah, it's funny. I mean, whether you're in finance, marketing, advertising, a lot of it's the same, right? Right. I mean, you could pull from a lot of that in real estate. You need to be a lot of different things in real estate, in my opinion.
And isn't it one of the biggest investments someone could make, in a sense, if they're like going to live somewhere for all those years?
Sure. Yeah. I hope the person that's in charge of that sale knows how to do math, and knows how to deal with finances.
Yeah. So you went to college for that, and then there was a point where you decided real estate. So was it a what or a who? Like, was there a mentor, or was there just a timing thing?
A little bit.
2006, wasn't that or the Great Recession?
Well, 2004. I got in before, so it was still pretty hot market in 2004.
Was it like shiny objects in a way?
Yeah, but that's not what got me into the business. In all honesty, I mean, I like a lot of young go-getters these days. I was antsy. I wanted to have success. I wanted to have it now.
Okay.
And I felt like I started working for a builder. I love doing that stuff, but I wasn't learning quick enough. I wasn't moving along quick enough. And it's like, so I just naturally sought something else. And my uncle is a broker, and he owned his own company at the time. And I remember vividly, maybe around May that year, I went to meet with him and my aunt and uncle who ran this company, and they basically sold me on the business.
Wow.
I mean, and this, all it was, hey, Shawn, do you want to run your own business? And I was like, yes, sign me up. That is for me. I want to run my own business. And I didn't ever really figure that out, I guess,
until
high
that
school,
moment.
until that moment. That I was
Wow.
like, wow, I really want to do this. I need to be running my own business. So then, I jumped in. And, of course, it was great timing because the market was doing very well there. But, regardless of the markets, when you start out in this business, you need to work it hard. And
That first 30 days, were they your mentors in a way?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they taught me everything I needed to know about real estate and really led me in the right direction. And I can't tell you how valuable that is. I mean, starting out in this business, you need somebody to do that for you. And it's funny, like, because I had that, I got off to a really good start and everything, and I ended up selling a lot, getting into management, and opening up my own company. And that's what I like doing now. I like helping getting new agents going and working with
So you take it from their
agents.
perspective in a way.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And just like I was sold on the idea of running my own business, I love being able to help people start their own business, which is what you're doing when you're getting into real estate.
It's like a business within a business, and there's levels within that.
Absolutely.
In a sense, is how you look at it.
Right. Exactly. And, unfortunately, there is high turnover rate with new agents in the business. But I was taught so well that I know exactly what they need to be doing and what they shouldn't be doing, and kind of how to push them in the right direction, regardless of what their strengths or weaknesses are. There's always a way to kind of push them in the right direction, and that's what.
What did that
really,
first
really
few
enjoy.
months look like? Right, having that mentorship and that guidance from these individuals.
Again, I mean, no one can ever tell you exactly what to expect in real estate. You need to have some courage, right? It's going to be a little fearful going out and tackling the millions of things you need to do in real estate, right? The contract alone is 15 pages long, and then another 10 addendums on top of that. So it's
That would lose me in a second.
Exactly.
That did lose me in a second.
So it's impossible to know all the language in those contracts. You can read through them, but it's still how much you're going to retain. And the millions of different selling scenarios you're going to be in. And the clients have certain situations that you have to help them figure out. And we're the quarterback of it all. We are.
Wow.
It really, and I take that very serious. And so, I guess the point is they would teach me what I need to know up to a certain point, and then they expected me to go out there and sell, right? So I would go out there, do what I had to do. Then I'd be like, whoa, I have no idea how to handle this situation. I'm going to first try to figure it out myself. If I can't figure it out myself, then I'm going to ask them a question. And then, typically there's not a situation that they weren't in or couldn't handle.
So
and now that's me. Now they're
you've almost embodied that.
Exactly. So anyway, it was a really good way to go out and learn the business, but it involves having a lot of courage to kind of go out there and do stuff that you're uncomfortable doing, and I find that's why a lot of agents do fail, or that's one of the biggest things people have trouble with, is going out. And I don't want to say winging it, because that's the wrong term. It's going out and having the courage to not know exactly how to do something, but to feel your way through it and to figure it out.
It's interesting, profound almost. I keep like in my head hearing problem solver, and I'm thinking you went to college and you took finance degree, which takes a certain ethos or some form of either genetic or environmental predisposition to think outside the box.
Right.
Is that something you feel like was learned over time in your life, or did you have that inclination and then work more on it?
It's definitely something that's a learned trait, in my opinion.
Okay.
I think that is something
anyone can learn how to solve problems.
Anyone can learn to be a good problem solver. And it involves dealing with those situations. I talk about the fear, right? Fear of not knowing how to do
By the way,
something.
that's a bias being a coach and a great leader. So
yeah. Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
But yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's something you can learn, and I feel like I was lucky to have a lot of people, a lot of influences in my life to help teach that to me. Some people might call it tough love. I actually think it's necessary. I think there's a lot of because at the end of the day, when you are faced with a problem in any situation, whether it's business, personal, or whatever, you got to rely on your own abilities and your own self-confidence to kind of get through it. Yes, it's nice to have people help you through it, but you don't want to rely on that. You want to be able to stand on your own 2 feet in this world, and it starts with little things. So little problem, solve it, get through it, figure it out, then go on to the next.
In grade school, did you have a part-time gig or job or interest in things outside the endeavor, or were you more focused on sports or academics?
Like a lot of kids growing up, I was more just playing sports. I was your pretty typical kid. I loved playing sports, baseball, football, basketball, and through high school, I had a job, enjoyed that. College, I always was doing something along the lines of business, so there's no real strong background. One thing I will say, where I think I got a lot of my influence from, my mom actually ran her own business.
Huh, okay.
Yeah, she ran a daycare for many years. So I was exposed to that at a very young age, and I saw someone running their own business, every day. And it was interesting. I think that helped with work ethic too.
I can relate to that well, because I lived in this, I guess you could say it was a basement.
Okay.
It wasn't like a dirty or dingy one, but it was the basement of a big house.
Yeah.
And the woman who adopted me, my mother, Barbara, her sister's husband was the entrepreneur.
Okay.
And so he owned the house. Okay. We lived in the basement.
Yeah,
and I remember I was like, I got to get upstairs.
Hey.
It's like, I want to.
You worked your way out of the basement.
Get out of the basement. So it's interesting. When she owned her daycare, a business, were you 7, 8, 9, 10?
Oh, yeah.
In those 4th, 5th, 6th grade types of environments in your life?
I was, yeah. It was, like I said, it was pretty much my whole life. That's all I knew, was my mom running her own business. And then, and not only my mom, but, seeing everyone in my family had a good work ethic.
Huh.
I mean, there's no such thing as staying home and doing nothing. And if you are at home, you're doing work.
Wow.
And what are you doing? You're mowing the lawn. You're doing all the typical stuff. But, even take it a step further, like, hey, Shawn, go, fix that tile in that room. And I'm like, well, I don't know how to fix a tile. Well, we'll just go figure it out,
Wow.
There's a lot of that, but so I was exposed. That was how, I was raised. And it's everyone in my family. It's not just me. We were all raised to,
there was alignment.
Absolutely.
That culture.
And it wasn't like, I don't know.
What do they call it? Do they call it helicopter parent kind of thing? Or is that when you're micromanaging?
I'm not sure what that. I've heard that term. I'm not sure.
I hear it all the time.
It's not like indentured servitude. It's not like I was like sitting there.
Yeah, let's clarify that.
I just want to clarify, but no, I mean it was good, and I mean at the time you're like, it kind of sucks. Like all my friends are out there, like doing whatever they want to do whenever they want to do it, and here I have these 10 things I got to do before I go out. But in hindsight,
it almost sounds like the opposite of today.
Oh, absolutely.
Like the complete contradiction,
Correct.
antithesis
Right.
of the lawnmower parent.
Yes.
That's
going to
roll
do
down
it for you. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's right. That's what it means. It's the parent that does it all for the kid. I mean, I can't think of a worse way to raise a kid.
I appreciate
just
that.
my opinion. If
Yeah.
you do that for your kid and you think it's best, go right ahead. But I just don't think that's good at all.
Well, it brings us to our culture now in the sense of like, and then it's almost as a reflection of the real estate industry in general with a 90+% turnover rate.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you come into the business and you think, hey, it's all going to happen for me.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Do you think it's almost a gift in the sense of how you were raised? You can translate that to coach your agents?
Oh, absolutely.
Not to be the lawnmower in their own right.
Absolutely. And it's funny, the agents that, I don't know, don't really like, I guess, my coaching are the ones that get frustrated when I don't do it for them. Unfortunately, it's a business that if that's your mentality, it's not going to work. If you are looking for somebody to do the work for you and only do a segment here or a segment there, you're probably not going to. I mean, you might have some success, but you're not going to be a top producer. You're not going to be at the top of the food chain when it comes to having success in real estate. You need to be, in my opinion, if your goal is to be a team leader, to be a broker, to own your own business, or to just be a really successful real estate agent.
Yeah.
Maybe you don't want a teammate, or maybe I think you need to be able to stand on your own 2 feet and do a little bit of everything. You need to be able to have a wide range of talents. You better know a little bit about taxes and accounting. You better know a lot about marketing. Really,
Yeah,
because that is our business.
And I see you guys' ads like on Facebook. I've seen your sponsored stuff, funny stuff.
Absolutely, and you better be we're in a sales business, and it's funny when I tell people that, we're in a sales business. You better have sales skills. They're like, I don't want to be salesy. No, it's not about being salesy. It's about having sales skills, completely different.
How do you define sales skills?
I define sales skills as basically a structure or a systematic way to go about handling a situation, specifically communicating with either a client or another agent. Does that make sense?
Perfect. Like an example, like interview in a sense.
Yes.
I can learn if I like someone or not by listening.
Sure.
So some people I hang out with again. Some people I never do.
Right.
They sold me out of it.
Mm-hmm. Right. And selling, again, I mean, I think the best salespeople out there are the ones that sell by asking questions. And so it is an interview.
Socrates said something about it.
Oh, did he? Okay.
The Socratic method.
Okay,
right?
sure.
It got him killed though, so we don't want to do that.
Okay, we don't.
That would be
I'm
bad.
not looking for that.
Well, I'm curious because 7 years, or basically, from 2004 to 2010, you're one of the top producing real estate agents, doing well enough at all of the things that needed to be done. And at one point, you said, because it's interesting, you said a process. Heck yeah, I hear that a lot from people that are really successful,
Sure.
some kind of process that they follow. So at some point you said, hey, I'm going to be in a management or leadership position. What light bulb went off that you said, oh, let me go level up again?
This is horrible, but I was feeling a little complacency.
Okay.
There's nothing wrong with having success as a real estate agent. It's just I was doing it at a young age, and I just always felt like I could do more. And again, not that there's anything wrong. I could have just been a better agent at the time, or gotten more business being an agent. I just chose the leadership, and there was an opportunity presented to me, and I kind of went that route.
Wow.
So, but it was a little bit of complacency for sure.
That it's interesting. So, in a sense, that conflict led to the inspiration to actually serve other people. So some people look at that the opposite, and they want to. They'd be complacent in a sense, or maybe comfortable, and they just want to serve more themselves. Mm-hmm. Where did that come from? So have you always been interested in teaching?
I have,
If you learn something, you want to share it?
Absolutely.
I did that a lot, and no one wanted to talk to me because they didn't want to hear it. So
it's worked out.
You have to ask for permission, though.
Yeah, but over time, it's worked out for you.
Slowly.
Yeah. So.
But it's interesting to hear because you're a high functioning, very competent realtor, and then decided to go into a management leadership position. Not a lot of people decide to do that. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people decide to do that maybe that isn't really what they should do. But you've been, this successful, so.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I agree in the sense that there's certain people that shouldn't do it, but for the people that do it, I think there is a sense of serving others. You have to, because you have to want to help people get from A to Z. And if that's in your blood, well then maybe leadership is a good route. But even being a real estate agent, though, you got to have that, trying to help that buyer or seller from the start of the relationship, at the start of the business relationship, right when you get a listing or right when you start looking at homes with a buyer, to the end. And the end is typically settlement, or even past that. So
no, it's interesting. And now that you were with an organization and in a leadership role and started Entourage.
Correct. Yes.
Now that name, I mean, I watched the show by the name.
Yeah.
Is there a symbolism there, or is it like, what is the method behind that madness? I see that you got the red chairs. Like, there's a lot of alignment. Seriously.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and there is. I mean, there is a little bit there. We wanted to, and I say we, the founding partner, Bobby, who's no longer a partner in the business, but he's still a founding member and agent here, and we had the idea to start this business and have a real high level of marketing and have a real close group. See, we had experiences, I guess, in the past where real estate is running your own business, so every man for themselves, every man and woman for themselves, right? Well, we didn't want that. We wanted more of a team atmosphere in the entire brokerage. So yes, the name Entourage. What do you think of Entourage? You think of obviously the show, right? Yeah. But it was more than that. Entourage really is. It speaks to a group of people. Typically, I think friends. And doing something together. Right?
I know it's funny because that show definitely showed that.
Yeah.
So no matter what way you slice it, that was your understanding. Hey, teamwork makes the dream. I mean, as cliche as that sounds, teamwork does make the dream work.
Absolutely, yeah. So it's just in that word entourage. I just thought it was such a great word, and and then we added the elite real estate to it. Because we wanted to be elite agents as well. What's it mean to be elite? I just think it just sound. Whether we're doing $50,000 houses or $5 million houses. We want to be sound agents, elite agents. We don't want to be average. We want to be even better than average when it comes to helping our clients get what they need or want out of us.
I like that. Plug the Lightspeed VT, waging a war against that. I don't know if you follow podcast Brad Lee.
I don't.
Works with Grant Cardone, and his mission is to wage a war against average.
Okay, yeah.
So I love that.
There was a lot of that when we started. We wanted to be there is no average.
Lean, mean, in a good way to close a deal to help people.
Absolutely.
So what, if you were going back and you're looking at how real estate progressed, what is the top of mind, the biggest lesson you probably learned over these years that you've been in the business?
There's a couple adages I guess I can think of. First off, the old adage, time heals everything.
Okay.
In real estate, that's the truth. Whether you're investing in real estate or just buying your own primary house, if you buy in a down market, don't freak out. It will turn eventually, and eventually you'll be able to get out of that house. Time heals everything.
It's like a long term.
Yes. If in real estate in general, and again, people can debate this all they want. This is just my opinion. I believe that when you get into real estate, if you're thinking something long term, you'll never get hurt. If your goal is something long term. Now, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of people out there that will buy a house, fix it up, and sell it real quick. You can do that, but as long as you have a backup plan, if it doesn't sell, So I just think time heals everything. That's one adage as it applies to real estate. Another thing would be, I think you got to be decisive, and you got to be able to, whether you're an agent or you're a buyer or seller, you want to be decisive. You absolutely do, and I think that helps.
Over time, have you become more and more decisive as you've developed in your business?
Oh, absolutely. But again, getting back to the fear, I think a lot of people are indecisive because they're afraid of making the wrong decision. I've made so many good decisions. I made even more bad decisions probably in my life. But every single bad decision I've grown from and learned from, and it's made me way better than what I was before. And I don't think I would have gotten there if I would have, you know, done everything the right way or taken so much time to act, you know, to try to figure out what the right decision is. Because a lot of times, as much as we can try to figure out what the right decision is, we don't know.
Yeah.
You don't know. You can try to analyze it up and down, but the truth is you don't know until it happens.
Do you find, well, it's interesting because that understanding or that mentality of wanting to, or being, number one, wanting to figure it out and being able to figure it out is a financial background, usually understanding. A lot of people never get out of their own way in that. Like, example, I can speak to the opposite. I'm all chaos.
Right.
Act and then and then luckily I started reflecting after.
Sure.
Because all mistakes, brother.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
So you may have been would you say a little more conscientious and then work through that?
So part of that in being decisive is not just don't do something roguely, right? And then just deal with it after that, the aftermath. You really do want to think. And you want to analyze, and you want to do all those things. But what I'm saying is sometimes you might be able to do 90% of the analyzation. You're coming up, and you're almost there on making a decision, but there's that 10% you're just unsure of or don't know. Well, that's where you're never going to know, right? So you need to, we call it, gut. Do you have a good, what's your gut decision? Well, that's where it comes from.
Or the leap of faith is another.
Yes. Yeah, leap of faith, blind faith. I use that a lot with the new agents. Hey, you got to have blind faith in this business.
So would you have told yourself that 5 years ago and 10 years ago and, hey, have more faith in that I know what I'm doing?
Yeah, I think I had it back then. I still think I had the faith that it was all going to work out. But I think that's one thing I've done well over the years.
It seems like you reflect a lot.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Like if you do something, you're working it out in your head. Like, what do I take from this to be better the next time?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
How would, because I believe it's teachable too. What are some of the ways that you teach that? Someone like they're not making any decision, or if they do, it's like, well, you keep doing that again. What are some pieces of advice that you shed on there?
For being indecisive, I try to pull from examples. I think in sales in general, it's better to show them than tell them. So and part of showing would be like, hey, here's an example for you. And I would try to pull something that one of my experience from the past, maybe with a past client or somebody else's experience, some story I've heard or whatever, and say, well, this is what happened to somebody that, that missed out on that property. And here's what their line of thinking was, and that's what, in my opinion, why they missed out on it or whatever. So just to give you a little example. But I would use examples. I would use real life examples.
And let's say they make the decision, right? Because the example thing makes sense. That's how we make decisions, is through visualizing the future in a sense.
Sure.
You're showing a future that happened. Yep. They're more courageous now.
Right.
Less fear because there's more understanding.
It's a little bit of a sales thing too. I mean, you're selling, but like again, I would want my client to feel comfortable, or my agent that I'm working with to help them learn the business, whoever it might be. I want you to feel comfortable because this has been done before. Everything you're feeling now and the decision that's in front of you has been made a million times in the past. And here's how it goes sometimes. You try to give some examples.
Let's say things don't work out. Is your process like? How do you attack that? Is there a thought process that you follow?
Yeah, so dealing with the wrong decision or failure or whatever, that's a tough one.
I usually look for people that I can demean and condescend.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, it's fun. People do that. I've done it. But what's your problem? How do you overcome?
We have an agent here. Sorry, I'll tell
That's awesome.
A little story. There's an agent here.
There's vodka in this, right?
Yeah.
No, just kidding.
I don't even know if it's appropriate to tell a story, but there's an agent here that we joke, of course, is completely a joke, but when he has a bad day or something doesn't go his way, one of his buyers' offer doesn't get accepted. Okay. He says, "Man, I feel bad for my wife tonight." So like, yeah, look, there's always that element of it. Do you go home and let somebody else have it, because you had a bad day? It happened, but I'm not saying that's the way to deal with it.
Well, it's interesting bringing that joke up. Obviously, it brings up who is in our corner. It's like, who do we talk to? I can say that in the last year, I did meet someone. It's not in a spousal relationship, but a friend that they're definitely a rock in my life, in the sense of like someone to talk to. And it's like, ooh, that relationship is a reflection of a couple now, because I have a lot of those starting to pop up of like relationships that I have people that I can actually voice my truth to, and they'll listen.
Yeah.
And that started happening for me after I kind of started doing that with others. It was like a weird, like this whole thing we were talking about before we started, that started happening more because I started listening to people first.
Right. Well, we actually call that something in real estate, and you know, again,
Really?
I'm making this about sales, but it's really, you know, personally, it's helped you. It's we think of a bank account, right?
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
and you need to be able to deposit. You need to make deposits before you can withdraw, right? So you needed to make some deposits with other people out there. Like,
Everybody. I was very unlikable.
So you had negative money in your bank account. Right?
Nothing.
So you need a lot of
Bill
deposits.
collectors even. They're going to take that snippet and get them. Like,
So
that's the culture.
That's good. You had a lot of deposit making. Apparently, you've been making some deposits recently because
it's just throwing it, jabbing it. If I jabbed anymore, I'd be Gary Vaynerchuk's boxing coach. No, it's funny.
So no, look, it's a good thing because now you can make a withdrawal. What's a withdrawal? Like, yeah, calling a friend up. Hey man, I got a bad day. I got to tell you about this, and then you listen. You know, and that's, you know, they're good people.
Are there
a good friend?
I moved a lot growing up, so a lot of those childhood friends kind of went their ways, and I developed new relationships. So they're those people in your corner that, hey, you still talk to, and like they're your people. They may not know nothing about real estate.
Oh yeah, it doesn't have to be someone in the same profession, or it doesn't have to be a family member. You know. So yeah, absolutely.
And now you've been in the business for some time, and a manager and a leader in that business, and you take a consultative coach. It sounds like coaching approach to your agents.
Oh yeah.
What is your understanding, or what is your belief system on having a mentor, being a mentor? Like there's tons of coaches in the world, lots of parents in the world, also lots of non-parents, right? We talked about that earlier, like how to do things. There aren't courses on this stuff, on how to be a human. So what is your belief system on that mentorship? And
well, when we talk about mentorship, I think it's hugely important again, specifically in real estate. You need to have that mentor to help you get going in real estate, in life too, and you know. But as it relates to real estate, the problem I find is that the brokerage community, and there's gurus out there that say the brokers have been failing at this for a long time, is that like the mentor programs that are out there just aren't cutting it, so to speak, which is why there's such a huge turnover of agents. So one philosophy, you know, that I personally have is you got to really want to be a mentor. You can't just like be doing somebody a favor. You got to really look at someone and say, I really want to help you get going in real estate. And that's the only way it's going to work. So basically the mentor needs to fully commit. So usually the mentee will commit more times than not all the time. But usually I think the mentor needs to, for every 100% that the mentee puts in, the mentor needs to put in 120.
Interesting.
So you always need to have about 10 to 20% more than what your mentee is putting in to give to them.
It's a funny, interesting thought, because you see mentees outgrow the mentors all the time.
Oh yeah.
It was neat.
That's a success though. That's
they're leveling up.
Yeah, I mean, that's a huge success. If somebody I coach ends up being bigger and greater than me, great. That means I did my job.
I like that. You know, Neil said that. I got his book over there, Friedrich.
Okay.
Yeah, the pupil that doesn't outshine the masters, let him down, basically.
Sure, yeah. No, I want to train somebody better than me, you know, because, you know.
So not be attached personally to owning it. We see it all the time in general, like even caring about that business, coming into it, caring about it, wanting to almost own the outcome of said individual. It's like, if I'm attached to that outcome, positive or negative, the outcome owns me.
Yeah, right.
And then it's like, and if whatever life happens. Now my energy is at the throes of whatever their energy is.
Correct, right.
What are some of the things that you've done intrapsychically through your development in this crazy career to overcome that and not be attached to the outcome nearly as much?
There's not a lot that can't be solved by hard work. Okay, so I always rely on that. I know, like, there might be. I mean, there's better salespeople out there. There's better, talented individuals that know what to say and how to say it, and so there's better people out there. But one thing that I will always hang my hat on is I'm always willing to outwork anybody.
Well, I like it.
So that's one thing that's, I don't want to say a competitive advantage because anyone can work hard. It's just one thing that I know I could always rely on. And that's where I build a lot of confidence from. I know, we got to eat that elephant over there and it's scary as hell and I don't know how we're going to do it, but we're going to do it one bite at a time. And that's
he's thinking you're already eating.
Absolutely.
I learned that from as well, Lance Bachman, the founder of One SEO.
Okay.
That was what he said about hard work and willpower was his 2 words. It was like, he'll outwork. He's there every day. That to me really, it was like a punch in the face.
Absolutely.
So a couple weeks ago, we sat down like this, which I appreciate, by the way.
Sure, yeah.
It's awesome.
Anytime.
It was like, bam, in the face. Like, Elon Musk talks about it.
Oh, yeah.
I think he said, it was like, someone working a 40-hour work week, I can do what they did in 4 months, work an 80-hour work week.
Right. And there's different schools of thought. You hear different. Look, I follow Elon Musk a lot. I think it's really cool what he's up to. I mean, say what you want about his personal life and what he. But I'm just saying.
You mean we're not gonna? I'm just kidding. You saw the podcast, right?
No.
Oh, he smoked on the podcast.
Oh, yeah. That would be funny.
I just pull out. Wait, it's not even. Is it legal? It's not legal in Pennsylvania. I don't know. I don't.
It's not legal. Yeah,
it's not legal.
They're talking about it
in Pennsylvania. But he got in trouble for that. But I just pull out.
That's funny. Yeah,
that's a meme.
Next thing you know, I got the board of directors.
Wait, but I thought this was the Entourage. What kind of? You got. What else do I get here? What's that closing now? So that intrigues me. Elon Musk mentors that. How much time, or do you now, or in the past, or is it of interest? Books, personal development, different speakers, or things of that nature, or maybe just entrepreneurs, right? Like Shark Tank or whatever.
Shark Tank's great. Yeah, that's really good energy.
You watch that show?
That. Yeah.
Okay,
yeah, that's good. Where do I draw from? I mean, getting back to when I got into real estate and being coached the right way and being trained the right way. I was also pushed in the right direction as far as education. And it's funny, people, even to this day, I don't think enough people get educated enough on their own. They kind of just go out there, sell, and are like, well, I don't want to go to that class. I don't want to do that or this or that. Well, I was taught that go to all those classes, go to those gurus, take tons and tons of these books and learn what each guru does. And I did that. So one system I was trained on and coached on was the Mike Ferry system early on.
Mike.
Great.
The script.
Hey,
I'm looking for Mary. Hey, Mary. Can you still hit it?
Oh, I get the script. I'm not going to do it here on camera, but absolutely. Look,
we'll have to do that together.
Oh, yeah.
Call some FISBOs.
Yeah, let's do some FISBO.
I love them so much.
Let's knock it out. Set some appointments.
Yes. I'm just curious, when did your house fall off the market? It's been like 3 years.
Yeah,
I literally, so it's on that for a second, because you got me excited. I can't, so because of the training of doing it, the individual that coached me first on the telephone was someone that originally was in your office. Shout out to Maria Quattrone.
Okay,
She beasted it. She beasted the telephone.
Sure.
We met through happenstance a couple years ago, and I said, I want to learn to overcome the fear of the telephone. I didn't know anyone in this. I wasn't from here. I said, I'm going to learn from this woman. I'm going to shadow her. I read a lot of these books. And that Mike Ferry script. And it's funny, when you say that thing out loud every day, and you do it enough, like I can't tell you any of the lines, but if I just start saying it, it'll come out.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Like how many times? Same way, right? I couldn't think of any of the lines, but if I just go through it out loud,
it comes back.
It just comes out.
And that's part of the system. And it's learning a set of phrases and dialogues and how to say them is just as important. And that's sales skills. you know, even though it's, you can say it's scripted, but it's not really scripted after you learn them, you know. And,
yeah, it's like you're on the phone and you're just listening to the person. All of a sudden, the question that you do need to know comes out.
Absolutely, and if you really get in depth there's somebody says something to you, you repeat and affirm it, you know. So it's like, you know, I say, you know, if I asked you where are you moving to, and you said Florida, I'd say Florida. Wow, that's exciting. You know, so I repeated and affirmed your answer. That's
how soon do you want to be there? What do you think stopped from selling? How do you happen to pick the last age you listed with? What do you do like best? What do you feel you should know? What do you expect the next age you choose? Have you chosen to work? It's just coming out now.
Right. You know,
but then on the phone, I might not even ask any of the questions.
Right.
Because I'm just listening.
Absolutely.
I found like it gave me a lot more confidence just to do it. Mm-hmm. Because I knew once I did call someone, I would know what to ask.
Right. Absolutely. Look, whether you're calling, you know, 100 people a day or whatever, or you're not calling anyone, you need to know those scripts. And that's my thing. Now that you know the scripts, you might as well call someone or stop by someone's door.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, because what else are you doing with your time, you know? But anyway.
Did you learn that from the culture? That was the culture when you were with Coldwell Banker. Mike Ferry was the beginning of the training, or did you learn Mike Ferry with your aunt and your uncle?
My aunt and uncle happened to be with Coldwell Banker, but with them first, and then it was just a culture match with my next, you know, company when I got into management, and it was just, you know, again, they led me in the right direction. Said, listen to this guru, it's pretty good stuff, and I'm like, okay, again, just having some blind faith. You got to have that in this business. I can't emphasize that enough. You got to be coachable and be willing to be coached. And then, you know, I started doing it. It's like, wow. Next thing you know, like, I kind of knew what to say, and I was starting to get some business here or there. Some of it was through my prospecting that I was trained on. A lot of it wasn't. But I still felt good that I knew all those sales skills and the scripts and everything and the dialogues. And so, you know, and then after learning the Ferry system, I was like, you know, all right, let me learn another system. So I learned a little bit more about a referral-only system.
Joe Stumpf?
No, it was actually an old CRS president. His name was Ed Hatch. And I started coaching with him. He was great, you know, and he had a small coaching program, I think, and it was great. I learned a lot about how to really relationship sell, really dive into relationship selling. Because I sourced my business. The large majority of it was my sphere of influence and my past clients. So I said, you know, I want, you know, if I can do 30 sales a year with just sphere of influence, I wonder what would happen if I really dial down and prospect that. And that's what I did. And
so you had this book of business from adding value to people in your personal relationships, sphere of influence. Mm-hmm. And then instead of just going new all the time, you dug really deep in building foundational relationships with the people that you already had relationships with. And that was your main business driver.
Yes. And it's in a systematic way, though. That's the difference. Like,
not just calls randomly.
Not just
it was like
randomly having a thought like, oh, I'm going to reach out to that person and build my relationship. No, it's systematic and duplicatable. And that's when you know you have a good fundamental foundation for growing business out of that source. So
wow. How is that something you see a lot of agents know how to do, or is it not very common to build a system through their relationships, their past clients, or sphere? Because I hear it a lot. It's like,
people are doing it. They don't know that they're doing it. I just wish people did it in more of a systematic way, because they would get loads and loads more business and have more duplicatable business year after year, as opposed to just getting lucky because, oh, this person's selling this year, I want to get their buy and sell. And there's a lot to be learned from that and doing the system the right way.
And to this day, how much has that impacted your business is?
An incredible amount. I mean, I'm still reaping benefits from activities I've done with my sphere of influence program, I guess, 5 years ago.
Wow.
It's not like I'm really dialed into that now based on my role now. But
it's interesting because it can feel like one of the, like I need to eat today. Mm-hmm. And that's going to help me eat tomorrow or next week a lot.
Right.
But I need to eat today. So how do I start?
So, all right.
And I'm genuinely curious your advice because I'm in the throes of doing something like that similar now.
Here's the truth of it, and this is where the hard work comes in. It's not easy. It's very simple in what you need to do, right? But it's not easy. So in your case, what I tell you, you got to do the long-term stuff because that's how you can get really fat. Never have to worry about, not having anything to eat that day, okay? Because it's something that will feed
I could gain a couple pounds.
But immediately...
I got spare.
You're in pretty good
My
shape.
belt.
Yeah, you're good to go. But the immediate is also necessary too because you need to eat today, right? So what do? Well, let's figure out. Let's eat today, right? Let's get that taken care of, right? So that means do your prospecting today. Get that piece of business that's hanging out there. Lead follow-up, prospecting. Maybe it's FSBO's expired. Just sold. Go knock on someone's door. Do you need to buy or sell something in the next 2 weeks? Because I'm your man. But you also want to focus in on the long-term stuff. If you run a business of, hey, just having that sense of urgency to get that deal right then and there, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's what you're going to have to do forever. Okay, so I took the approach, let me do the intense one of finding something today, but also combined with a little bit of a longer-term method so that I didn't have to work as hard later.
Wow. And that's worked out for you well.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's interesting because I can definitely see where I personally made a decision, even with just marketing, putting myself out there, when I made the decision that I didn't need anything from anyone, but I wanted things, who I associated with changed, how I worked with other individuals changed, how I sat down and either listened or didn't changed. I talked less, I listened more. That opened up more doors. I felt like I grew more. And the business grew more. And in a sense, like where I am now with Culture Matters, doing videos, learning from people that have done things that I could never imagine yet in my life. And then that's all right, right now, add value. It's like, and then a little piece of the day is focused on that long term, like how to get to that next level.
Right.
How to do that. Was it the mentorship that gave you that? I feel like I learned that from mentor also, but also like a lot of pain. So what's the fast road to that, you think?
There's no fast road to it.
Maybe that's a bad question.
No,
in a sense,
I mean there's no real fast road to the longer term. It's again, the long term play is. My analogy is you just want to inch it forward every day. Because now there's going to be certain days where you have an opportunity to really take a nice leap and get 5 yards or whatever. But to use the football analogy, like we just got to inch the ball forward. The good thing is you have more than 4 downs to get the first down. You have an unlimited amount of downs. Just keep inching it forward. If you take a step back, if you lose some yards, or your next play, again, just keep inching it forward. And I guarantee you're going to take 2 steps. You might take a step back, but you're going to still gain yards. And then there's going to be certain days where you throw a Hail Mary pass. But you won't be in that position to catch that Hail Mary unless you're inching it forward every day.
Wow.
And really, I think in business, you want to just set yourself up in a position to where you can make that big gain.
Did this thought hit you one day, or was it you've been it's like writing your thesis on this walk? Because that's really high-level stuff.
It's writing my thesis. I don't read a lot of books, but I do learn a lot, like hands-on in doing this. And I've learned that that's the mentality you got to have in order to have
like with the videos, even I gave up I said, hey, Gary Vaynerchuk, actually, love him or hate him, a lot of the stuff he puts out. I took to it. I said, hey, him and Grant putting out all that content, I said, hey, what's the worst could happen? No one watches it?
Yeah,
to this day, there's 1,300 videos on my YouTube. No, there aren't more than 250 people on the subscription.
Sure.
Who cares?
Doesn't matter.
At least my grandkids will know that don't be like that.
Right.
Will. So I kind of let go of that, and it's made me less worried about the outcome. I feel like if I had it's the beauty of this, is like if I had a conversation like this a couple of years ago, I would have started faster. So then that brings me, have you thought about writing this stuff down in this stage of your business? Because there's some really powerful stuff.
It's funny you say that. Like
we could transcribe this conversation in a way.
We could, yeah, and it's all good stuff. And to your point, let everybody have it. I don't care. Like everyone, the stuff we're talking about. I just, if it could help someone, great. But I've had that thought recently, and I don't know if it's because I have 2 young kids, and it's like you start to think differently. I guess when you have kids, and and then with all those experiences, I'm thinking, I would like to write this down so I can refer back. and remember my thought process at the time. So it's funny you say that.
And your children, boy or girl?
Both. Yeah.
Do you have a boy or girl?
Yeah.
And they're, what, 5, 6?
About four and a half of boys.
That makes sense because you don't have gray hair yet. Meaning, like,
No,
they're going to stress you out by, like, 7, 8, 9. They start getting aggressive. They don't want to clean them anymore. The room or nothing.
Yeah,
Like
it's stressful at all levels. I think most parents will tell you that. Like, I don't know the older ages, but it's still stressful younger, too. But no, it's a lifelong contract, which is interesting because it's different than anything else you do, you know. But yeah, you're, you know, sign up forever.
And you meant it.
Oh yeah. I mean, you know, so sometimes you gotta
60% of the time.
Yeah,
people don't mean it. I mean, it's a serious.
No, I think
thing.
at the time everybody means it. Mm-hmm. I think things change and things are dynamic. That being said, you sometimes need to remember, you know, what you pledged, and that, and you know, it's true of a lot of people, and you know, when as it relates to kids, like, you got to remember, like, look, you know, you signed up for this a lifetime, you know, and that's your job.
Do you see them doing real estate?
I think about that sometimes. I don't know if it fits their personality, or maybe it's one or the other, or maybe neither. It's not something that I need to press into them. Now, if they have desires of running their own business, that would be great. I would love that, whether it's in real estate or something else, because that was what's in me. Real estate was just the way to do it, the easiest and fastest way to kind of run my own business. And from there, I've definitely developed a huge passion for real estate and building and construction and stuff like that. I just love everything related to real estate. I really enjoy
the investment side. Was that interesting to you when you got involved in it?
As a matter of fact, I started investing in real estate before I was even an agent.
Wow. So is that something you still do today?
Yes. Yeah. Still invest in, you know, we'll do rental properties. We'll do fix and
It's more
flip.
of a long term.
We'll do new construction projects, subdivisions, anything related to real estate. Really, I have a passion with and enjoy doing.
Wow.
So and helping buyers and sellers, number one. I always say that's my first and foremost. And I'm adding one more thing to that, which is helping agents grow their business. So buyers, sellers, agents.
Well, the agents end up making even more impact because you're multiplying yourself in a way.
Sure. Absolutely.
So talk about literal multiplying yourself. I wanted to ask this with your children. They're younger now. In the next 20 years, the world is changing dramatically. You seem like you're always on the up and up in the sense of looking in the future. Just from our conversation, I would almost be hard to imagine you wouldn't be thinking about the future based on this conversation. You're a pretty abstract dude.
Oh,
like, hell yeah.
Thanks, I think.
Yeah.
All right. But, no, look.
What do you think they're going to see, you know?
Well, for one, I can guarantee you one thing. It's going to be different.
Okay.
Right? So and we're way different than it was 20 years ago. So now, is the difference a good thing, a bad thing? Well, I guess it depends on your perspective. I think a lot of people worry that it's going to be different in a way that negatively impacts the industry as far as like, oh, they're not going to, people aren't, with all this technology, you're not going to need agents. Well, I think that might be true of certain industries, but not ours, because of how dynamic it is and how different it is. I mean, I look out here, you know, in Conshohocken. I mean, you have houses that are brand new, right? Then you have houses that are, you know, 1900, 1920. Then you have an era of 1960s and 1970s, all within one area. Now, you tell me how a computer can really tell you everything you need to know about houses, you know, of varying ages, and not to mention what's going on. Like, what's going on in this local area? You know,
what's the culture? What's the ecosystem? The environment?
What's happening? What's hot here? You know, and that's one thing. Look, I guess you could read up on some stuff, but you're not going to have everything. You know, that, you know, meeting, that town meeting that went on last night, you know, is that going to be out there on the web? Maybe, but values, negotiation. Plus, at the end of the day, people like having somebody that they can rely on, somebody that can quarterback a transaction, okay? I don't know if we're going to be called real estate agents, or are we going to be called consultants? I don't know. Whatever it is, I still think there's going to be a human element that wants to help the other human in the transaction.
Yeah, I like that.
Okay, so I just don't think that'll ever go away. I don't think. Why would it?
Are you accepting of the technology then?
I am.
A lot of people are still kind of.
Yeah, no, I accept it for what it is, but I could tell you that, I mean, depending on what technology you're talking about. Yeah, it's such
a broad term.
We're not at the point now where some computer model can tell you what a house is worth and what somebody should sell for, what somebody should buy it for.
Yeah.
We're not there yet. I mean, you look at the different valuation models out there. I'm not saying some aren't good and some might hit, but 9 times out of 10 they're wrong. And how could it be right? They're not inside the actual house.
Yeah, it's interesting.
How can a computer pick out a valuation when they're not inside the actual house?
It's a really philosophical conversation in the sense of, like, if you look at Zillow, for example, they offer this opportunity for the marketplace who is interested in something, who at the time, unless they know a best friend or a family member or whatever, doesn't know a realtor. So then they can just go right here and look. And because of that interest in looking, the platform doesn't necessarily, to the T, have to be right about anything. Because if enough people just look at it, it's valuable.
And that's their business.
And that's how it started.
And those platforms will have value for the foreseeable future, no doubt about it. I just don't think they can totally replace an agent. It just can't happen.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah.
And so, have you seen Sophia? She's like a robot that was talking on I'll show you after this.
Okay.
Sophia is a robot, an artificial intelligence robot.
Okay.
They gave her rights in Saudi Arabia.
Okay. Really?
It's scary, dude.
Wow.
Like, no, obviously, it's interesting we're having this conversation because I try to ask as many people in business this, and there's definitely a commonality in the sense of an agreement that people that aren't good at what they do, it's definitely going to hurt them.
Oh yeah, but that's in any industry or any business. You better be a professional and know your business and know how to do it well. Otherwise, the technology will leave you in the dust. And just like, in this business, and it's getting even worse. They talk about 90% of the business being done by 10% of the agents. Not even 80-20 anymore. And and that's because that 10% of agents have made a full commitment to this business and to knowing everything about it and to knowing exactly how to not only sell but how to represent their clients and I think the marketplace can catch up. It's going to take a lot though. It takes a lot of effort by the brokers. Takes a lot of effort by the regulatory authorities to really nip that in the bud. So
this made me think. There's a quote from 2,500 years ago. Heraclitus said, 100 men. You give me 100 men. 80 of them are targets. 10 of them shouldn't be here. Of the 10 that are left, 9 of them are real fighters. But 1 is a warrior. I shall find him, for he shall bring the others back. So they've been saying that 2,500 years. This makes me think, the 80 people that are targets, right, 10 shouldn't be here, got it. Cancer, got it. 9 are real fighters. Okay, so they're worth their grain of salt. Sure. 1's the leader, let's say, per se, right? It's interesting. If that's been like for thousands of years, that cultural ethos, there must be some truth fundamentally in our neuropsychology, biology, whatever. Well, let's say it is. What if technology is the external stimulus that drives culture, which is the ethos, which is those 10 real fighters and warrior that are just always ahead of the curve, that just always adapt, that are just always right there, because no matter what, 80 people are going to be targets. I'm just making this up right now. Like you just made me think like a lot.
Yeah. That's
with this conversation.
That's a pretty deep
we
stuff.
Can go, dude, thank you for listening. No,
wow. I'm still trying to remember my FSBO script.
Dude, no, like, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. No, look,
I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud. Like, it's just interesting because obviously you're not a target. I hope. But like,
although some
it's
days
always
I feel there's a target on my back.
Sure. As a business owner, there's always a target on our back, right? But it's interesting what the future's going to bring. I think about this a lot. Like, I want to live to 200 years old, but then I think, well, why do I want to live to 200? That brings my next question. Have you thought about the legacy that you're leaving in the sense of you're investing in real estate, you're building a company that, by the way, has really good symbolism with color and the design, because it isn't a normal thing, but it should actually reflect the logo and the title. Should all be in alignment because it all makes sense. It's like you don't go into a church that doesn't make sense.
Right.
So like that is not a common thing, by the way. Like ever.
Well, thank you.
Ever.
I mean,
and Lance also did that. Color is all over the walls. The color of the logo should be on the freaking chairs. It's important.
Right.
The chairs are red, the logo. Anyway, I get excited about that like stuff, the invisible architecture.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
It's definitely obviously it's very psychological. And it's interesting because you it seems like you have an engineering mind in a sense of like you look at things and you work your way backwards. Would you agree with that?
I do. A friend of mine and a mentor in kind of the building that we do told me one time he looks at things like an exploding parts diagram. And it's funny, the more I learn, the more I start to look at things like that. And immediately, if you told me you're doing something, I want to find out how you're doing or how it works. So yeah, there is a little bit of that that goes through my head. I always wanted to know.
I question Santa Claus.
How's he get around?
I was very. Did you?
I wasn't like that too much.
Well, I was an angry child, 100%. You felt good? You were okay?
I was okay with Santa. Yeah, me and Santa don't have any problems.
Didn't really question it until later.
Didn't really question until later. Yeah.
You can find out a lot about someone.
Yeah, I just Santa was very good to me, so I have no complaints there. So
2018. Entourage Real Estate, of all this exciting stuff going on. I know new location because the building here is changing. Things are changing.
Sure.
Growth, real estate investment, kids, the whole kit and caboodle. We know a lot of the same people in the industry. I'm surprised it took this long for us to meet, which is cool. We finally meeting.
I know. That's good.
If you were to you're having a conversation with yourself, it's like 90 days into the business. You have your mentors, your aunt, your uncle, your sphere there. Knowing what you know today, what is the conversation you're having with yourself? Not even just a statement, aphorism, whatever. What's the conversation you're going to have with yourself when you first started that business? Personal, business, life. What do you say?
When I'm 90 days into the business?
Yeah, you just started.
I'm probably...
Are you beeping the horn?
Yeah, I'm beeping the horn. And I remember how it was when I started. I mean... I'm thinking to myself, what can I do right now that will benefit my business in the long term and in the short term? That's how I thought. So so they were the thoughts that dominated. And at the time, I didn't have a wife or kids, right? So at the time, and I think I was living at home. So I just wanted to work the whole time. Again, I'm not saying that's a great thing, but it was one thing that I just wanted success so bad that I was like, I'm going to work late tonight. Like, all right, so I guess one of the thoughts was, how am I going to get dinner and be able to get back to work? So, again, I mean, that's not what I do now. And I don't know if I would even preach that because you don't want to burn out. But I was so passionate about having success in this business, and I liked the idea of running my own business that much that I was willing to put a ton of time in. I'm not even saying I was doing the right thing 100% of the time, but I was doing something. And I was, again, inching it forward.
So is that what you would tell yourself? Like, hey, good. Keep doing it?
What would I tell myself? Oh, knowing what I know now?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Knowing what I know now.
Dude, I'm still thinking about the script, too. We went around. Well, we went around the world, which I appreciate. Not everyone can get around. It's like we're on a, what is it, plantoon? How do you say that thing? A boat?
Pontoon?
Let's just say a boat. No. And people are falling off. I go around the mountain. I'm trying to ask a simple question. We're all the way over here now.
Oh, yeah.
You made it this far? We're good.
Yeah, we brought it back.
But yeah, like what would you... It doesn't sound like you have a lot of regrets. Like you don't seem that miserable. Yeah. I'm just kidding. You seem pretty happy, like balanced guy.
There's a certain bit of miserable you are when you're a broker owner. So and a broker owner...
You're so honest,
There's a certain bit of it, Yeah, we're really happy all the time, but yeah, there's a certain bit, But no, look, do I have regrets? Maybe certain things, but... I think regrets are. I don't think they make sense.
Okay, why? That's interesting.
Well, because have a regret if you did something wrong or bad or whatever and didn't learn from it. You should regret not learning from it. But if you learn something from it, which ended up making you who you are today, how can you be sad about that? Yes, I would do things different, but that's what made you who you are today. And then you got to take a good look at, well, do you like who you are today? And if you don't, then maybe you do have regrets, and I can understand that. But if you like who you are right now, then I think you shouldn't have any regrets.
If I liked myself anymore, I'd marry myself.
That's an affirmation, I think.
Final word. I'm an agent watching this right now.
Yeah.
What do you tell me?
What level of agent are you? Like, are you
Ooh,
a new agent?
Okay, so your answer of asking the question is why you're awesome. Inquisitive.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's say you're in the business 5 years. What are you telling me?
5 years. Continue plowing forward in your business. Plan out your business. Set your goals for next year. You should be starting that right now. Do something. Go outside your comfort zone. Do something that you want to normally do. Set your goals very high. Go to work every day. When bad stuff happens, deals fall apart or stuff like that, feel bad for yourself for 5 seconds. Eat something, have a beer, and then get right back on it because good things are ahead for you, and that's really it.
I like it. We will not be targeting this advertisement to Alcoholics Anonymous.
That's probably not.
I'm a new agent. What is your piece of advice?
Okay, new agent. This is a very important time in your business because a lot of people get out of the business in 2 years. So you need to figure out a way. We have a saying here at our company that you have to figure out a way to be in the business for 3 years, okay? Scratch and claw and figure it out.
Oh, I like that.
Okay. Work really, really hard, okay? And when you think you worked hard enough, continue working because that's what it takes to have success in this business. Learn as much as you possibly can from as many people as possible. And take what you like, take little bits from each and every person, and then develop it and put it into yourself, and then learn how to best make it work for you.
Wow. So focus on the 3 years, learn from people, work hard, and then it reminds me of Muhammad Ali. Mm-hmm. He would do crunches till it hurt, and then he started counting. Yeah, I like that.
Badass.
It's Muhammad Ali. Entourage, elite real estate. There you go.
All right.
This is awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
It was fun talking
I'm excited.
All righty.